Salutations, hello, hi, and welcome to Basic Public Speaking. I'm Christy Thomas. I am your instructor professor for this course, and this is an introductory video. I'm introducing myself to you along with introduction to the course, the format, how it flows, expectations, and communication. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Again, I'm Christy Thomas. I am beginning my 15th year here with ACTC. I teach basic public speaking. Along with that, I've taught various other communication courses and theater courses. I received my degrees from Morehead State University. I have a bachelor's in theater and studio art and a master's in communication. When I am not in the realm of instructor professor world, I am full-on mom mode. I have 3 middle-aged school children that are thick in all the activities and extracurriculars, so they are living their best life and I am their chauffeur. So that's pretty much my world and myself in a nutshell. I look forward to this class. So without further ado, and I know I've already said that once, but let's go ahead and move into the chat about this course. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. We're going to discuss the format that you will see on Blackboard, communication between myself and you on Blackboard, as obviously, and expectations for this course. So on the format for Blackboard, when you log on, it's going to look a little overwhelming especially if you've never taken an online course. I have the first 3 weeks of lessons, information, assignments, all that's already posted, just so that you can kind of just work on navigation and figure out how I set things up. Again, the format when you first log on is you're going to see introduction modules. There's going to be this video link, obviously, and then there's a welcome introduction module, and in this you're going to find important course information, class information. This is the class syllabus, which has all of ACTC's information stuff, a weekly schedule that I created, and it's tentative, but we'll get into that later on. Just some little, like I said, course information, but the majority of the course information, I also provide quick links under the module so that you can just click on them. I'll get into that a little bit more depth now. Those quick links, you're going to have a link to ACTC's academic calendar, because I do follow ACTC's scheduled for days off and whatnot, all that good stuff. With that also being said, you will find a link to ACTC's library, which is really great information to have, to use in this course or any course, because it works with the KCTCS library system. So just keep that in mind for this course and future references as well. And then quick links. So you'll have another quick link of the weekly schedule calendar. It's posted, and I genuinely follow that. It also has due dates, but there's also a separate link that says due dates. It has what the speech/assignment is, when it's due, and how much it's worth towards your final grade. So you kind of can keep that in mind. The calendar, like I said, I follow that pretty well. Due dates, I also follow those pretty well. If for some reason I extend a due date, I will let you know. I will never make something due sooner than it's on the calendar. It may just be an extension, just depending on circumstances. Quick links to due dates. There's also a quick link to course expectations. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a moment. So far we've discussed there's introduction modules, quick links. After quick links to courses, there's your weekly information. This is in the form of weekly video chats. Now, when it comes to weekly video chats, obviously they're opened, and it discusses in depth what we're looking at this week, what the lesson is, kind of a little bit more background information and anything that's due. And it also kind of put out there what is due in the future. I try to let you know a minimum of 2 weeks in advance when something is due. I want to allow you to have as much time as possible to work on assignments and speeches. Weekly videos, they stay up for that week unless it covers multiple weeks. So it'll be open at the beginning of the week, and by the next week, the new weekly video is open and the other one is closed. There will also be what I call summaries, where I post a Word document of multiple weeks summaries. Sometimes it'll be 3 weeks, sometimes it will be 4. Those documents remain open. So once they are open, they remain open for the remainder of the course, just to go back. But again, I do more in-depth each week as well, but this is what you're seeing in that format. So introduction video, introduction module, and then quick links to course information and ACTC information. After weekly information, there will be links to your speech assignment modules. Those are posted in order of, the first one you'll see is the newest due date to the oldest due date. So as we progress throughout this course, the newest speeches or assignments will be at the top. And when it comes to speech and assignments, once they are open, they remain open throughout the course. In these, you find genuine, because it's mainly speeches is what we do in this course, obviously. There will be a Word document that is a description and technical requirements for said speech, and then a video chat of me just kind of going into detail about the description, technical requirements, and examples. Then there will be links to upload your final version of your speech. I want to say this now, and I'm going to say this multiple times throughout this course. This is an online public speaking course, which means you are to record yourself. I need to see you as you see me in a video delivering your speech. Fabulous. So that is our assignment speech links. Underneath that is where you're going to find lesson modules. Lesson modules will appear in order from how they appear on the weekly calendar. So the first few ones are the ones that are open this first few weeks, and then as we continue through the course, I will be opening modules. Once a module is open, it remains open for the entirety of the course. In these modules, you will find Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, and publisher PDFs along with video chats. Okay. The publisher PDFs will look similar to the Word documents and PowerPoint presentations. The major differences here is that I included, if we were to do this course face-to-face, I have included what questions or topics or areas that we could focus on afterwards for kind of like a Q&A. It's just a way for you to kind of, you know, get working in a different way or get your ideas thinking in a different way. Also, when I say video chats, it's a video of me discussing lessons and hitting the main points and giving examples throughout this course. Now, I want to give a disclaimer or a preference, whatever you want to say here, that some of the videos, they're not current. Like, I did not record them all in a week, but they're current as in the last couple of years I have created these lesson modules, and after a certain amount of time, I redo the videos. So if you get on a lesson video, you will probably notice that my hair is a different color. I just want to make you aware of that my hair color changes a lot in these videos. But that's okay. We have fun. And also sometimes in these lesson modules, you will also find, I call them supplemental videos. These are YouTube videos that I find. There's just a really amazing communication coach, Dr. Alex Lyon. I love to use his stuff because it gives a different perspective of the lesson, of that particular lesson. So again, these are just things that kind of help you along with understanding the lessons. That is the format of this course. So again, when you log on to Blackboard, you're going to see an introduction video. That's the one you're watching right now. An introduction module that has all course information, but a lot of that course information has its own quick link below that module, along with links to ACTC's library and their academic calendar, along with a public speaking blurb. Then you will find weekly videos, documents, and remember, the documents are bundles. You're going to have multiple weeks in these documents, but they remain open for the entirety of the course. Weekly videos, however, do not. The first few videos, yes, they will remain open for a few weeks because, again, the first few weeks, we're really learning how to navigate Blackboard, especially if you've never taken a course. Or if you have, I'm sure my course is set up different than anyone else's because individuality. With that being said, after the weekly videos, this is where we also come in contact with assignments, mainly speeches. And those are arranged from newest to oldest. So be aware of that when you're looking and scrolling through assignments and speeches. And then underneath that will be your lesson modules. Those are arranged on how they appear on the weekly calendar, starting with the first few lessons and then working our way down the building blocks of public speaking. All right, that's our format. That's me. Let's just talk about how communication and expectation works, because they coexist together. Communication, I will have everything uploaded and posted and ready to go no later than noon on Mondays. I say noon. Like I said, I have 3 middle-aged school children, so sometimes Mondays, really Monday hard, and trying to get out the door and get everything ready. So I say Monday to give myself a little grace. With that being said, what you will find weekly is a weekly video chat, an announcement, and an email. Let's break those down. Announcements will pop up when you log on to a new announcement. Well, when you log on to Blackboard, when it's been posted, will pop up as soon as you log on. But there's also a little link that you can click and it pulls up all the announcements. And announcements stay open. Of course, I don't delete or take away any announcements. So you can always go back for reference. The same with emails. Emails will be similar to the announcements, but they will have more detail. And what I mean in more detail, it'll have more detail. You know, I'll say, okay, so this week's lessons is over speech genres. And then I'll kind of just discuss more about the various speech genres, what I'm covering, why I'm covering it, because sometimes, you know, the what, the why, and the who are fun. And also along with that, I discuss kind of more in detail if there's something due, what is due, where to find this information, and then future due dates. Because speech modules, I try to have open at least 2 weeks in advance, prior to the due date, just so that, again, you have plenty of time to look at the information, look it over, and work on it. I will never post something and say this is due tomorrow. That's not who I am as a person. That's not what I do. Also, I'm going to take a moment here and say a lot of this information that I'm talking about right now will be posted numerous locations: announcements, emails, video chats, Word documents, just because I'm a big fan of accessibility and information. I will repeat information in multiple locations so that it's easy to find or remember. Again, accessibility, huge on my idea. So we've talked about announcements and emails and video chats. Like I said previously, weekly videos really only remain open for the week. When I am posting new information for a week, the previous week's video will be closed unless it's covering a couple weeks information in there, because sometimes I do that, especially if there's like nothing major due and we're really just looking over lessons. Anyway, that is our weekly communication. I don't have an office hour, so I don't have an office, so I don't really have office hours or an office phone. Email is the best way to get a hold of me. In the syllabus, it says allot 24 to 48 hours for a response. I'm going to tell you right now, I usually respond pretty quickly unless A, I'm in the middle of something or I'm out of service. And that happens sometimes with especially chauffeuring my kids to extracurricular activities. So just kind of be aware of that if you're messaging me of the evening time and I don't get back to you immediately. You know, I could be somewhere that it's not pertinent to check my emails or have service. Along with like I said, I'm pretty good on responding quickly to emails. And if you ask me a question and I may not have a way to, maybe you're asking me something about a due date or something that's due, or if you've submitted something, I may not be near my computer to check that, but I'll be like, hey, I got your email, and I will check that when I get to my computer. I let you know that, yes, it's been received. Yes, I'm looking into it. And at any time there are questions or concerns, or you need clarification or have a really great idea and you're going to be like, well, would this work for this? I implore you, please email me. You know, I would love to chat about it. So that's the best way to access me. And my email is going to be on a lot of quick link documents. It's in the syllabus. It's in multiple locations. And if I shoot you emails, replying as well will get it to me. So I'm just letting you know there are multiple ways to venues to communicate email with me. So Again, that's our weekly communication. Everything is posted on Mondays, no later than noon. I let you know what's going on that week, what we looked over, let you know, hey, everything's been submitted. With speeches, I always say with assignments and speeches, allow up to 1 week for me to get the grades posted. I generally get them posted quicker than that, but just again, to a lot because life. I also want to make you aware, and this follows in the course expectations, you may or may not receive feedback on your speeches. Don't be alarmed if you're not receiving feedback on speeches. That means you are meeting criteria, expectations, and doing what is asked of you. Because each speech has its own little world of what we're looking for. And sometimes your feedback may be like, hey, that's a really great topic. I really love how you executed that. That's super fun. This looks great, you know. So I don't want you to be alarmed if you don't receive anything. It means you are meeting the expectations and requirements, the criteria for that assignment or speech. Along with, let's see, we've discussed format. We're still working on communication. We've talked about emails, alerts. Along with course expectations, things I just want to keep in mind, be checking that weekly info. You know, like I said, announcements and emails are going to be similar but different. So make sure you're checking all your options. Check your weekly videos. All of my course lessons, any video that I have, I download it onto, upload it. I put it on YouTube, and then I take the link from YouTube and provide it on Blackboard. So I have a channel on YouTube for my course information. And like I said, I've been doing this for a few years, and some of the information's from like 5, 6, 7 years ago. All newer stuff is going to be there on the front page. And if you go to the very beginning of the page, you're going to see my kids when they were babies. Anyway. But just kind of be checking that weekly info, figure out what's going on. Like I said, I follow the schedule pretty well. I've talked about the speeches modules being open 2 weeks prior, 1 week of turnaround. Also with this, like I said, also info that I'm talking about now is going to be in multiple locations. I will email it to you. It will be on Word documents. It will be on the weekly video chats. It'll be in your announcements. The links, the modules that I have for speeches, it'll say like main speech 1, and it will have the due date and the time it's due by. For the majority of this class, minus the final speech, everything's due on a Friday by 5. So I try to allot enough time, because I know sometimes you can work outside and do things, but anyway, Fridays at 5 is generally the submitting time. Now, these first few weeks, again, are weeks of navigation. I'm pretty lenient. I'm pretty chill. And if something comes up and you can't get it because, you know, technology is going to fail us when it will, reach out to me. We'll chat about it. Be mindful of your online presence. What do I mean by this? Great question. Let me tell you. Blackboard lets me know. It gives me timestamps of when you have submitted work, when you have last just logged on. It also lets me know when you have, or perhaps haven't, opened up links to the lessons. I know it seems tedious. Well, she kind of just talks about it on the weekly video. The lessons are pertinent because, A, we do stuff about the canons rhetoric, and all these lessons are the platforms to public speaking. And public speaking is formal and informal, and I'll get into that in another video that's not this video, but just kind of be mindful. It tells me when you last logged on. It tells me when you've submitted assignments. It tells me what links you have and haven't clicked on. So I just want to make you aware of that moving forward, especially towards the end of the semester. And when it comes to assignments and speeches, please only share what makes you comfortable. I will never ask you to share something that makes you uncomfortable, or that's not who I am and that's not what I do. So when I'm giving examples and ideas, only share what you're comfortable sharing with. Again, I'm never going to ask you not to share. I'm never going to ask you to share something that makes you uncomfortable. The beauty with this course and how I have it set up is you have the freedom of, I may give you genre, but you have the freedom of topic and subject in purpose. And we discuss that a little bit more further on. Topic, purpose. Anyway, with that being said, folks, again, I'm Christy Thomas. I'm your professor and instructor for this course. I'm looking forward to getting to know you through your speeches and your assignments. At any time throughout this course, you have any questions, concerns, need a chat, need clarification, whatever may float, please email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I know I just said this, but I really look forward to getting to know you all through your speeches, and I hope you have fun. And if you have the fear of public speaking, which so many do, maybe we can learn to fake it till you make it a little bit easier after this course. With that being said, I hope that you have a fabulous day, a wonderful semester. Thank you so much.